Hey guys, welcome back to our series on the 4 horsemen Gottman has for killing a relationship. Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Today we're going to talk about contempt. And I am not going to say, you always yawn during videos. How can you do that? Because that would, show a little bit of contempt. And, you might do it on purpose. So the second horseman is contempt. And it's when we treat others with disrespect, eye rolling. Eye rolling is a popular one.
Huge.
When you mock with sarcasm, which is different than humor with sarcasm.
Agreed.
I have sarcasm in my repertoire of humor. I can be sarcastic. I am very aware not to direct sarcasm at you or at individuals.
Right. Same.
More at situations.
Yeah.
And again, calling names, ridiculing, mimicking. But I think the most common I see besides sarcastic, cutting comments would be the eye rolling.
Absolutely. I see it all the time, and I have to call it out every time.
You see it in sessions even.
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Who eye rolls more, women or men?
Women.
Okay. I kind of thought, yeah. I don't know any statistics. I think men use sarcasm or belittle more,
yes,
and women eye roll more.
Men are more verbal about it. Women are more subtle about it, I guess.
Okay.
With the eye rolling, because a lot of times women don't feel like they're allowed to say something.
Okay. Yeah, and again, a lot of times, contempt goes beyond, it's the next step, it's past criticism, it's worse. And they are attacking an individual's character, and they're assuming a position of superiority a lot of times.
Whereas I think sometimes with criticism, you don't always know you're doing it. Contempt, you're doing it.
Good point. And you think you're better, or you're in, again, how we're communicating. Now, the thing about contempt, and this is, it's fueled by long simmering negative thoughts about the partner. So what we have is a lack of high regard.
Absolutely.
If you have high regard, you're not going to talk and use contempt. Comments that are dripping with contempt are not coming out of your mouth. Why? Because you're holding your partner in high regard. You think well of them.
I would say by the time you get to contempt, you probably have run out of energy to hold that person in high regard.
Yeah. I had a discussion with somebody today about how difficult it is to hold their spouse in high regard. And I said, what I told him, I said, you're not doing it for them.
Right.
I said, you're doing it for you. It's how does a high-valued man conduct himself? And he holds people in high regard. For those who have kids, if your kid did something horrible, every one of our kids has at some point done something relatively horrible, while we may be disappointed and a little frustrated or upset, that doesn't change how we view our children. They're our kids and we love them.
Right.
And, we have to address that issue. But again, high regard goes a long way. Probably the thing that I think everyone needs to be aware of when it comes to contempt, it is the single greatest predictor of divorce. Think about that. The single greatest predictor. When one has contempt for another, there's no respect, no love, no high regard. And one of the things Gottman did that just blew me away was the micro slicing, where they have it's either a 5 or a 10 minute session where there's something, they put a couple together and they observe literally the way they talk to each other, and can, with just a few minutes of analysis, predict whether or not they're going to divorce or stay together.
It's so funny that we're doing this video tonight, because I did have this conversation with someone earlier about that very thing, the observation and the contempt and all of that, and it was a little scary to them, and so we're working on some things.
Yeah, and if you want to work on it and you're looking to improve your relationship, this is one of the, you get rid of contempt and criticism. Right there, you've repaired some of the foundation.
Absolutely.
And I think the one final point I want to make, you can't undo years of damage overnight. And we see this, we have some guys who the growth rate is exponential. They realize they didn't know what they didn't know and they need to change, and they literally flip a switch and become this great man. And I regularly see or hear, well, I've been, showing up right for 2 or 3 months, and it's like she doesn't, and it's been years of you being a certain way, and now I've changed.
I'm so sorry, guys, but as someone who's been on the receiving end of that, I have to giggle when I hear it's been 2 or 3 months. Why isn't she, head over heels for me again?
Yeah.
2 or 3 months doesn't erase.
No, it doesn't. And so what I tell guys is you have to look long term. You need to plan on this process being an 18 to 24 month process.
Yeah.
Now, will it take that long? Typically, no. What we find is a woman will either turn back towards you because she's got to have time to see the changes, not believe the changes, realize, holy crap, maybe these changes are real. Then there's going to be some testing, and you're going to pass most of the test, and then there's that acceptance, and then I think there is that cautious because they don't want their heart drop kicked.
Right.
So they cautiously re-engage, and there's I call it a softening and a turning towards.
Yep.
It doesn't mean everything's right. It actually means the work is really going to really begin now.
Absolutely.
But you typically, I see with most guys, they know by 9 months. And then between 9 months and a year, they either see their wife turning towards them, or they don't turn towards them, or they're done. Because plain and simple, there's a point they realize, I don't want to be in a relationship with this woman. But what you don't want to be, whoever's watching this, is you don't want to be the one who's got contempt for their partner. The relationship is doomed. So you need to move past this, work on yourself. Doesn't matter what they're doing. You need to not be the one acting this way.
Right, absolutely.
And for the men, you got to lead. You better not be doing this because there's no way she's going to stay with you long term. So have a great week, and we will see you when we cover defensiveness next.